the glue pot is warm and it is running right now. If we start from this end, you will notice that the roller that the panel bumped into on the smaller machine isn't here at all. Because this machine can take thicker and therefore tape with more resistance, we have to use a motorized feeder on this. What happens when when the panel meets this first valve here is that a pinch roller rolls against the feed roller, and then it starts feeding the tape. And then it comes along here and it stops at this point right here. The panel comes along, and now instead of having the hot air blown on it, it applies the glue to the panel right here. It goes on, meets the tape here, and pulls that up along here. And now here's another major difference. We don't have a guillotine anymore. Now we have more or less the same system. It's quite a bit more complicated, but instead of a guillotine, we use saw blades now. Of course, when we use saw blades, we can use different materials. High pressure laminate, it cannot be cut very well with guillotine. It chips, but the saw blades cut that really well. Also, the thicker tape, 2 or 3 millimeter, is cut much better with saw blades. And if you make wood strips, you can make your own wood strips and pull through here. The saw blades cut that really well too. After that, again, we have the top and bottom trimmer. And again, the top trimmer is attached to the belt feeder, so it follows whatever panel thickness you have to put through there. The knives are a little bit different from the hot air machine because we have a more versatile machine. I'll show you that a little bit later. Okay, first let's run a piece of standard PVC tape through. Check here that the feeder is set at the right height and the glue pot is warm. We start the trimmer, top and bottom and end. There, and the feeder. Always a little bit of dust left on. If you take a look here, of course this is thin tape. You can see the ends are perfectly cut and the trimming is on this here, just the slight bevel that we have here, and that's what that looks like. Now let's put on a piece of formica or high pressure laminate. I think this is what they call solid core. This is a little bit thicker and it's also both taller and thicker, so I need to make a few adjustments to the machine. But let me just show you what those are. First, I go here, I'll take the thin tape off here, and instead I put this in, like that. Here. Then I feed it through the guillotine, just like that. Then I come over here behind the glue roller. There's a track that it needs to fit into. I have here a little tape so I can see it's easy to make the adjustment from here. So I'll just set it to the height, and now I know I can push it through. Okay, so that's it. That's the adjustment that I need to make for the feeding of the tape. Then the thickness of the thin tape to the formica This is a little bit thinner, so I need to move the in-feed fence a little bit back because more thickness is applied right here. So I loosen this handle here, and back here I have a little counter that I just need to dial. I know this is 4/10, like this, with the little Allen key back here. Now that's done. Then, because it's a little bit thicker, I also need to make an adjustment to the top and the bottom trimmer. And that I need to make from the back of the machine. I'll go over there and make that and show you. Here. And you can see on this machine, the top and bottom trimmer have counters on them. So I'm just going to set those, because I have done this before, so I know. Just going to do 2/10 more on each, and that's it. The end trimmer is the same, so all we need to do, because the panel thickness I'm using is the same, is close it up here, lock it, and I'm ready to go. Okay, let's put some plastic laminate on this. Here, start the feeder, the trimmers. That's it. That's it. I don't know if you can see it from there, but in fact this is a lot easier to do than tape because it's a hard material, so the trimmer works really, really well. It's just like wood tape is easier to put on than PVC. Again, it trims really, really great. But now it's finished. Imagine how much time you save over if you had to do this with the contact cement and hammers or whatever people use. So that's the plastic laminate. And then we, for the last piece, let's put a piece of 3mm on. I want to say one thing before we do that about the 3mm tape. This machine can do it, but if 3mm tape is all you do, then this is not the machine for you. The reason is that now you're talking something that's quite thick, and honestly, the cutter marks, they show up. So if you do a once in a while 3mm job, then this is fine. But if all you do is 3mm, then you should have both scraping and buffing. Scraping and buffing are two quite misunderstood functions. The scraping is there to take those cutter marks out, and that is really all it does. Yeah, it's true, it also cleans up a little bit of the glue, but it cleans up those cutter marks. And then afterwards comes the buffer, and the buffer is there to even out the coloration so that it is even throughout. This machine does not have it, but the big machines that are made for doing 3mm all day, they of course have it. So this machine is great for this, great for wood, great for your normal tape, and it'll do 3mm if you get a job like that. But I wouldn't have this machine if that was all I did. Okay, let's put on some 3mm tape. Start the trimmers, the feeder. Go over here. Okay. Let's go here and look. I know it's hard to see from back there, and in fact I could do a little bit more trimming here, but if you take a close look, it looks really good. I can see when I look in the light here, I can see those cutter marks that I spoke about before. The cutter that we use on this machine is again a carbide insert cutter, but it's a little bit, it's more versatile and it looks a little bit different than on the hot air machine. We actually have or can do 3 functions with this. First, we have the same as we had on the hot air machine, which is a bevel cut, and we would use that for our normal tape, 1 millimeter and half millimeter 0.4, which is standard tape thicknesses. And then here we have a little cove. It's actually a 3 millimeter radius. So we would use the round part here if we put 3 millimeter tape on. And then we have here, we have a straight part. And we would use that, for instance, if we were putting plastic laminate on the front of your cabinets. You don't want to have a V showing or a black line there. You want to have those 2 pieces of plastic laminate show without a joint. So we would use that part right there. That's what the cutter looks like. As a woodworker, I have always been amazed at the complexity and how much is really involved in just putting a little tiny edge on a panel. Anyway, that's a side mark. But this concludes my presentation of our Edgebanders. I want to thank you for staying awake or watching, and I'll see you again soon. Thank you.